November 18th, 1952. A lone American Navy pilot in a Grumman Panther jet looks up and sees 7 Soviet MiG-15s diving straight at him. His wingmen are gone. He's outnumbered 7-1, and he's flying what experts called an inferior aircraft. What happened next would remain classified for 50 years, because the American government couldn't admit the truth. This is the story of the longest dogfight in United States military history, and the 100-year-old pilot who just received a phone call from the President of the United States. On February 4th, 2026, President Donald Trump picked up the phone and called a 100-year-old man living in Escondido, California. The message was simple. After more than 7 decades of waiting, Royce Williams was finally going to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. Not for something that happened yesterday, not for something that happened last year, but for something that happened in 1952. A battle so secret that Williams couldn't even tell his own wife about it until 2002. But here's the thing that makes this story almost impossible to believe. The Soviet Union never officially fought in the Korean War. At least, that's what they wanted the world to think. What you're about to hear is the true story, finally confirmed by declassified Soviet records, of the day one American pilot took on 7 Soviet jets and won. But first, you need to understand just how outmatched Royce Williams was that day. It's November 1952. The Korean War has been raging for over 2 years. But unlike World War II, this conflict barely gets any attention back home. Soldiers call it the Forgotten War. Lieutenant Royce Williams is a 27-year-old Navy pilot attached to Fighter Squadron 781, the Pacemakers, operating from the deck of the aircraft carrier USS Oriskany. He's flying the Grumman F9F Panther, America's first successful carrier-based jet fighter. Now, here's what you need to understand. The Panther was a capable aircraft, but it had one major problem when going up against MiG-15s. The MiG-15 could outrun it. The MiG-15 could outclimb it. And in straight-line acceleration, the MiG-15 would leave the Panther in the dust. The only advantage the Panther had was that it could turn tighter. And in a dogfight, turning ability can be the difference between life and death. Williams didn't know it yet, but he was about to test that theory against 7 enemy pilots all by himself. The MiG-15 was designed with one purpose: to shoot down American bombers. Top speed, 670 miles per hour. Service ceiling, 50,000 feet. Armed with one 37mm cannon and 2 23mm cannons. And on November 18, 1952, 7 of them were about to descend on one American pilot who was about to run out of friends. The mission started like any other. Williams and 3 other pilots from VF 781 were flying combat air patrol over Task Force 77 near Haeryong in the northeastern waters of North Korea. Their job was simple: protect the carrier from enemy attack. That's when they spotted them. 7 aircraft, high above, descending rapidly. At first, there might have been hope that they were friendlies, but one look at those swept wings told Williams everything he needed to know. MiG-15s, and they were coming fast. Now here's where things go wrong. Of the 4 American pilots, 3 of them had problems. Whether it was mechanical issues, low fuel, or damaged equipment, Williams would later say the details were lost to time, his wingmen had to break off. They headed back to the carrier. And Lieutenant Royce Williams found himself alone. But here's what makes this even more terrifying. These weren't Chinese pilots. These weren't North Korean pilots. These were Soviet naval aviation pilots, some of the most experienced combat aviators in the world. Captains Belyakov and Vandalov, Lieutenants Pakonkin and Tarshinov. Elite Soviet pilots were officially not there, because the Soviet Union was not supposed to be fighting in Korea. What happened next would last 35 minutes, and only one of those 7 MiGs would ever make it home. The MiGs opened fire first. Williams had a split-second decision to make: run or fight. He chose fight. Now remember, these Soviet pilots had every advantage: better speed, better acceleration, better climb rate, and they outnumbered him 7-1. But Royce Williams had something they didn't expect. He could outturn them, and he was about to prove it. Williams threw his Panther into a hard turn, pulling G's that would make most pilots black out. The lead MiG overshot, exactly what Williams needed. He got behind the first enemy aircraft and opened fire with his 20mm cannons. The MiG spiraled into the sea. 1 down, but there was no time to celebrate. 6 more MiGs were screaming in from every direction. The radio crackled with commands from USS Oriskany. Break off, return to carrier. Williams keyed his mic with the only response he could give. "I'm a little busy right now." For the next 35 minutes, the longest dogfight in American military history, Williams fought for his life. He couldn't run. The MiGs were faster. He couldn't climb. The MiGs could climb higher. All he could do was turn. And turn he did. One MiG came in too fast. Williams got behind it, fired a burst. The aircraft started smoking and pulled away, heavily damaged. Another MiG dove on him. Williams rolled, pulled hard, and got a firing solution. The second kill spiraled down. 2 down. Then 3. Then 4. By the time the engagement entered its final minutes, Williams had done the impossible. He had shot down 4 Soviet MiG-15s. And according to declassified Soviet records, only one of those 7 MiGs ever made it back to base. In 35 minutes of combat, 7 MiGs attacked, 4 confirmed kills. Soviet records confirmed 6 lost. 1 American pilot, 1 inferior aircraft, 263 bullet holes in Williams's Panther. No other American fighter pilot has ever shot down 4 MiG-15s in a single engagement, before or since. When Royce Williams finally limped his Panther back toward the Oriskany, he was flying on borrowed time. His hydraulics were shot. His aircraft had been hit by a 23mm round that should have killed him. And when